Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video already, and this is very fast and furious for me because normally it takes me ages to upload. I don't know if it's also for you guys, but I just want to keep my promise to my subscribers that I will try to upload more in the future, and right now it's going pretty well. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to talk about my experience with these new wax oil pastels by CARAN D'ACHE. I've been looking for reviews recently about these pastels and I couldn't find many, so I thought I'd just buy a few sticks, try them out and throw my opinion into the reviews pool. And hopefully after today's video I can help you decide whether you should get this or not and if it's worth the investment. Okay, spoiler ahead, I've never had to try it out on art supply so hard, and normally it's not a good sign. To be honest, I find them a little bit unnecessary, and this is definitely not my favorite product from CARAN D'ACHE. I'm not saying that they are bad, but it was really a struggle to find an enjoyable way to use these wax oil pastels as a standalone product. By the way, if you plan to use these pastels for mixed media projects, you can exit this video because for that purpose they are perfect. Plus you have the superior light fastness on top. Also, if you only use the Neocolor II, you don't need to watch this as well. This new set has nothing to do with the Neocolor II because the formulation is very different. Other than that, I would suggest you get the biggest set that you can afford. Believe me, if you're going to use these pastels only with themselves and you don't use any kind of solvent, you're going to save yourself a lot of stress with a bigger set. I had very high hope for this new product, and based on the advertisement, I expect the hardness to be between the Neocolor ones and the Neopastels, even though it was not necessary since the Neopastels already have the perfect hardness in my opinion. The second thought was maybe they did some kind of magic and make a smudge-free version of the Neopastels. Well, if you happen to think that too, the reality will hit you hard in the face. Because I thought at first they just merged the Neocolor ones, the Neopastels, and the Luminance, take every best aspect of those three, and they just give you the Faber-Castell oil pastel in return. And even those can blend and layer better. But I will get back to that later in the video because thanks to the Faber-Castell, I switched my mind from okay, they are unnecessary to they are very useful. For those who are very undecisive as I was but still want to try them out, you can just get 5 sticks for the beginning. A white, somewhat of a primary yellow, blue, red, and black. The black one is necessary because you can't just mix colors by layering or blending. They are so opaque they just sit on top of each other, which is good when you try to cover up something. So overlay is really a strong point beside the light fastness and the heavy pigment load. Don't buy the 12 set if possible because the color selection makes little sense. Just get yourself a white, black, and in addition to that a warm and a cool yellow, same for red and blue, and I would say you're good to go on a tight budget. I bought 30 colors out of 48 and I kind of regret that I did not get the super bright green one because I did not know that they don't mix as well. At first they feel very similar to the Neocolor ones, at least the laydown, and you might think that I did that they are just a light fast version of the Neocolor ones, but I noticed the difference first when I tried to mix them, and they have nothing in common with the Neopastels either. The Neocolor ones can be layered if applied very thinly, like courage pencils. You can actually mix new colors by layering or blending, and it works absolutely great for the fact that they are wax crayons. I find them even more enjoyable to layer than the Luminance. The transition is way smoother with the Neocolor ones than with the Neo Art. With these wax oil pastels, you definitely need some kind of solvent if you want to have a smooth application. If you just block in the colors, like if they just sit side by each other and you do not layer or blend a lot, that would also work. I got the best result with 1:1 solvent to oil ratio. It is also the best way to get rid of the shiny waxy surface in the end. But be careful not to put a lot of pressure in the beginning already, because if you try to use solvent the second time and there are already a lot of pigments on the paper, it will just look patchy when you try to blend them. So just like colored pencils, you have to put enough pigments for them to blend, but not too much. So in general, if you want to blend these pastels smoothly, like you would with the Neopastels, for example, you have to somehow destroy the tooth of the paper. Therefore, I recommend you use very smooth surface for the nail art. I saw some people try to blend these with finger and it did not really work well, like in the training unit from CARAN D'ACHE. It is possible, but only with very heavy application, and in my case with 3 or 4 layers. Only then I could squish them together like oil pastels without breaking my fingers. I tried them on different papers and I would say 4 layers is the maximum you can go without solvent. They don't flake off like cheap oil pastels do, but the application will look uneven at some point. Let's move on and compare them to the Neopastels. Well, I can't because the nail art cannot do all the cool stuff which you can do with the Neopastels. The biggest problem that I have with these is the ability to mix new colors. There is almost no difference, or the difference is very subtle when I try to mix, let's say, a yellow with a red or with a magenta. It will look very different with the nail pastels. Besides, I tried to blend them with alcohol markers and it did not work either. I have never seen anyone using alcohol markers to blend oil pastels before, but you can if you want to. Just don't apply very thickly, and it works pretty well for the first layer. And here is me trying to enjoy the nail art pastels. Not really. Actually, I did enjoy using them in the beginning because I just blocked in the colors. As soon as I tried to layer, it got worse. At some point, I made a mistake and I wanted to scratch off the petals of the rose. Turned out it was a very bad idea because reapplying new colors was a struggle without solvent. That's the reason why I said in the beginning these are not enjoyable to use as a standalone product. In order to compare them to the Neocolor ones, I decided to draw the Mona Lisa, and to be honest, I was so frustrated with the nail art that the Mona Lisa turned out to be very crumpy and kind of looks like Trump's lost cousin or something. So this is the finished rose with the nail arts and Trump Lisa. Originally, I just want to test the layering and blending abilities of the Neocolor ones since I haven't used them in a while, but I couldn't leave crumpy Mona Lisa looking like this, so I tried to bring back her smile. The funny thing is I drew her when the sun was shining, so the colors I was using were very cool tones, which made her look so dead when the sun was gone. But the main point is the Neocolor ones are much better than the Neo Arts if you see them as crayons. And back to the Faber-Castell, I was having a thought why not blending these with the Neo Arts together, since their performance is pretty similar. Honestly, I did not expect them to blend so well, since the Neo Arts are harder and normally it would take off some of the oil pastels, but no, they blend just like a dream. The trick is you must put the oil pastel first, and you can go roughly with the laydown. The nail arts will smooth everything out for you. They act just like a blender, and they make harder oil pastels like the Faber-Castell ones so much enjoyable to use. I also tested them on the Pentel, and what a surprise, they work best with the Neopastels. So if you are someone who still struggles with getting details with oil pastels, this is a solution for you. They don't blend well with Neocolor II because one is wax and the other one is water soluble. They are more opaque than Neocolor I, so they can be overlaid. And like I mentioned before, Neopastels and NeoArts are a match made by CARAN D'ACHE. I also test how they blend with pencils. It turned out that the drawing was the best match. Holbein was very close at second place. Initially, I thought Luminance would do best, but it was not the case, and also the Prismacolors, but you can fill in the gap with those pencils. I can imagine it's also very handy for someone who like to fill in a large area with the neo arts first and then getting into details with the pencils later. I don't think it's worth buying the neo arts for the few different colors. For example, with the reds, one is called cadmium red light and the other is permanent red. The color payoff is so close, and the cat red light is doing pretty well in my light fast testing. They are all doing well except for the coral, but coral tones are usually not super light fast. Unfortunately, I did not purchase the skin tone or coral tone in the Neo Art, but if you have it and test it, you can let me know in the comments if it starts fading within 2 weeks or not. And if 99% of the people who watch my video on regular basis would subscribe so that the channel hits 1000 subs by the end of the year, I would publish the light fast testing result for you guys. My final conclusion is the Neo Art is a great extension for someone who already uses oil pastels, but you have to use it in a certain way, like I mentioned before. First the oil pastels and then the Neo Arts. After that, you can pretty much freestyle with the layering. Or you have to use solvent to blend and layer if you plan to use these pastels only with themselves. And you want to achieve the more polished look, kind of fine arts effect. If your style leans towards impressionism, you can skip the solvent, and also for mixed media, because in most cases you probably just put these on top of watercolors or whatever. If you are an artist, these are better option than the Neocolor ones. Don't buy these pastels if you expect them to work like the Neocolor ones or two, or even the Neopastels. I have to be honest, I really do not enjoy them as a standalone product, but in combination with oil pastels in general, they work wonders. Especially for student grade ones like the Faber-Castell and the Pentel, which are drier and harder to blend and layer. That was a lot of information. I hope that helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya in the next video. Bye!